Here's a question. How much do you think the extra cost is to parents of children not getting free school meals during the holidays? Astonishingly, a parliamentary report puts it at more than £30 a week.
Food banks say demand for child food parcels goes up by almost 30% during the school holidays. And it's not just food banks who are feeding school children. Our chief reporter Kim Riley has been to a summer lunch club.
At the Phoenix Centre in the Mile Cross area of Norwich, they're preparing free packed lunches for children every weekday. The scheme, run by the Unite Union and Norwich Food Hub, providing up to 450 lunches a week.
Cheese, ham, cheese and ham.
Single mum Jessica Colley, the first in the queue to pick items for her two children, Jay and Jasmine.
What I used to do was do a late breakfast and an early tea, so we'd skip out a meal because my kids eat quite healthy appetite, and it's really hard to make 3 meals out of what I get on benefit.
Did you ever think you'd have to do this?
Not at all, no, not at all. I thought, I make loads of stuff from scratch. I'm also growing vegetables in the garden, so I'm trying to do the best I can on a small budget, but it's really difficult.
Families could today take away freshly baked bread from Tesco and food collected from other stores and supermarkets that might otherwise have been thrown away. John Walters is here with his 6-year-old son Jack.
Oh, it's a brilliant idea. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Yeah, this is definitely the most expensive time of the year. You've got outings to consider, food, the extra electricity with the telly on all the time, and yeah, so it does all help.
Chrissy Rumsby, helping out here, is a local Labour county councillor, worried about families struggling to make ends meet.
When you represent an area like Mile Cross, you do expect to see a certain amount of deprivation and poverty. But it's the extent to which you see the actual hunger that really concern me, people that actually haven't eaten.
Brian Green is the organiser of the lunch club. As a former member of South African Voluntary Services, he worked in the rural areas there.
I saw the poverty there and the desperation. When we used to provide food, we used to have these mini stampedes. People were desperate to get food before it ran out. And I have to tell you, this week is the first time I've seen it here in this country. The same desperation on people's faces, and it shouldn't be happening.
Unite is leading a political campaign to persuade the government to extend free school meals into the holiday, or increase benefits to compensate parents to counter what it calls holiday hunger. The government says it recognises some families need more support. It's investing £9 million in free summer holiday clubs and continuing to spend £95 billion a year on working age welfare to support those families. Kim Riley, BBC Look East, Norwich.
Well, Louisa McGeehan is from the Child Poverty Action Group and makes the point no matter where you live, there will be children living in poverty.
Where we're based in Hackney in London, it's quite high. The rate of child poverty, it's at 37%. But when I looked at your area, you could see also Ipswich and Clacton are also running at an equivalent level to Hackney. So we know that poverty isn't just found in cities, and particularly in areas where there's a lack of good jobs and secure jobs and jobs people can be certain will bring them in a living wage.
We reported from a food bank a couple of weeks ago, and one mother there said to us very openly, if it wasn't for that food that she was getting, she would be left with no option but to go out and steal. I mean, is that extreme, or are you seeing that replicated in other places?
It is a big problem, and on the one hand it's great that charities are doing this sort of work, but what it hides is the fact that it shouldn't be necessary. People should have enough income to be able to live and make choices about what they feed their families, and families genuinely struggle to get by.
In your experience then, what is the best way to support families?
So the best model is one that's open to all children, because when children feel like they're targeted because they're poor, that comes with a whole load of stigma for the children and the parents. So, you know, we have parents we work with saying, you know, I'm not that desperate, I can't go along there and have that shame because it's just a step too far. Whereas if we did things differently, as in other countries, and we opened up our schools in the summer and we ran clubs and activities and things that are fun and enjoyable to do that keep children healthy and happy, and just provide food as part of that, then what you're getting is a much better, holistic, inclusive experience.
I mean, the government says that it's investing £9 million in free summer holiday clubs and continuing to spend, I think it's £95 billion a year to help support families.
So while it's good, of course, to support some things, it's not the solution to the problem, and it doesn't even get you near the working families who are earning just too much to get a free school meal, even in term time. They're now struggling with in-work poverty. They're not earning enough to replace what they've lost, but they no longer even get that bit of support. So, you know, it's a really, really tough time for young children and families.
Louisa McGeehan, thank you very much.
Thanks.